Starting over. It was about an hour later before the first couple of boys sauntered down the stairs, both of them in the tight black jeans and black windbreakers those kinds of kids wore. Their hair was slicked up with grease so that it was like some oily shag rug. One of them led a bulldog that waddled along. It wasn't until another hour later that a big purple Cadillac came tooling up the street. Outside of Jack's was a white sign on a stand saying "No parking" by order of the SFPD. The pachinko got out of the car, opened the trunk, put the sign into it, and then parked the car. "His space reserved," Mr. J explained as he stood up. When the pachinko went down the steps, I felt myself tensing like an owl hovering waiting to strike, but nothing happened for a whole hour. "Stakeouts are usually more interesting on TV," Talia said, finishing the third boring chapter. "Things happen a lot faster." "I wait forever and ever, you bet," Mr. J nodded his head once to seal the proclamation. "Maybe I ought to just go in and see what's happening," I said. I was beginning to feel jittery. "You ruin everything," Mr. J said sternly. I settled back against the door and crossed my arms, trying to prepare myself for a long wait. Finally, the pachinko came out of Jack's, doing his James Dean imitation again. He didn't walk out like regular people, but came out in a slouching swagger, like he was about to go on camera any moment. He went to the phone booth on the corner, took out something from his jacket pocket and jiggled it around in the telephone and then dialed a number. He straightened suddenly in the booth as if he were excited, and when he stepped out of the booth, he was walking along fast with some definite purpose in mind. It was almost the most deliberate kind of thing I'd ever seen the pachinko do. "Let's go," Mr. J said. I pushed myself off the door, feeling as if I were about to take wing. "Wait for me." Talia slammed her book shut. Mr. J held out his hand. "You better let me carry it." No, I'm really all right." "Give it to him," I said. "He can carry it and still walk fast." Reluctantly, Talia held the book up with both hands. Mr. J took it and tucked it underneath his arm. We set out after the pachinko, hurrying to get closer to him before he got to Grant, where we might lose him in the swirling mobs. As it was, we almost lost him at the light. He ran across the crosswalk on a yellow light, and by the time we got to the corner, the cars were already starting across the intersection. "We can't let him get more than half a block ahead," I said to Mr. J. Mr. J said nothing, but squeezed his way between two fat, indignant ladies and stepped into the crosswalk. "He'll get run over," Talia said. I grabbed her arm and pulled her after me off the curb. A fat, bronze-colored Mercedes-Benz started accelerating toward the intersection just as Mr. J walked into the middle of the crosswalk. The driver, a fat, pompous-looking businessman,